Hey guys, it's Shaman here from the Natural Lifestyles and from Inner Game Life Coaching. And I wanted to address something because I made a little video yesterday that was kind of inspired, coming from the heart, about connecting to your vision and believing in yourself beyond the conditions of circumstance, and really tapping into your magical being, I guess, your true self. And got some nice feedback and inspiring kind of likes from my friends and fans and whatever, which I appreciate. And also got a really interesting reply from a guy saying that he feels really restricted by finances, and basically saying that he feels like the conditions of circumstance of finances are really restricting him, holding him back, making it really hard for him to do what he wants to do, and saying that he has a lot of faith and confidence in his ability to move forward, but feels like that's a real sticking point. Now that's cool, that's a really valid thing, and of course we live in a society that's very much based on money, and we're often very validated by money, and people will judge us for money, and it obviously limits our ability to get resources and move in the world and do that kind of thing. But the thing that I wanted to address and bring up is that at some point you're either going to let that set of conditions and circumstances dominate you, or you're going to create an exit strategy, get a way out of it. Exit strategies are not always easy to execute because they can have a lot of components to them, and depending on how much inertia you have in your life, that will very much depend on the kinds of results that you get out of that as well. But here's a simple thing to think about. Sometimes we get blocks in our lives and they accumulate for various reasons, and they can be complicated. There can be a lot of layers, and those blocks basically become like log jams. And log jams are quite complicated when you look at them from a distance. It looks like there's not really any way to move or where to start. But the interesting thing about log jams is that there's usually one or two logs that if you start to move them, then everything else will start to move. So it's about looking at your life and thinking like, what is the key piece that if I start to move it, will start to move other areas of my life? Now here's a good little trick to do that, a good little NLP exercise, if you will, or a good little intentional use of your unconscious mind to help you. And the thing to do is to go out into the future and to consider, what would success be? So if success is freedom with money, or success with business, or moving towards the thing you really want, trusting yourself, believing in yourself, going where you need to be, then get into your shoes of what that is. See, hear, feel, know what it's like to be in that state of being. And when you get connected to that, then start to feel where you are now in comparison. What's the gap between your present state and your desired state? And then you're going to start to find that there is a gap, most probably, because if there's no gap, then it's going to be easy. You're going to already be there. But if there's a gap, then feel what that gap is, and start to question, well, what is the biggest obstacle or the biggest obstacles? Note down what those obstacles are, and then work out what's the one or two major obstacles that if you just focused your time and energy and resources on, would start to break the inertia down, would start to create different things inside your life. That's a way to get focused and start to move on that. Now, once again, I know that's not always easy because there can be a lot of complexes of things going on, and I can relate. Trust me, I'm doing a lot of creation and a lot of pressure and a lot of change, and got a lot of things going in my life that making my circumstances not ideal right now. But at the same time, I trust and I know that I'm moving in the right direction. I put my heart where I want to be, I connect with the resources, and I also draw from the world around me. And what I mean by that is I draw from all kinds of different resources, my body, my breath, people, friends, the circumstances, the air. Today, just walking around and feeling the city and looking at people, I sometimes feel so connected to the world that literally makes me want to cry sometimes, because I just feel like so alive and so vital. And that comes from the fact that I allow myself to be open. I allow myself to be true to myself and go for what I want as much as possible. Now, sometimes I'm not in that, of course. Sometimes I forget, and sometimes I doubt, and sometimes I fear, and then I get stuck in those loops. But then it's really important that I pull myself up on my bootstraps, and I told you that yesterday with the other video that I posted up, to release yourself from that unnecessary assumption that you have to get somewhere, be somewhere before you're allowed to change. Because what if the causes and conditions of your transformation were already here with you, and you could just connect and assume that they're there with you? So connect with the outcome, give yourself the power of the outcome, and then move with that intention. So yeah, be aware of the log jams, like I said, and start to focus on what are the key areas that if you focused on them would start to release you from other areas. So some key hints. There's a lot more I could say, a lot more other techniques and ideas, but definitely a way to go. And if you're interested in more of this kind of stuff, you want to connect with me more, then check out innergamelifecoaching.com, or you can even just email me at shae@thenaturallifestyles.com. I'll be happy to hear from you, and hope you guys are good and enjoying your days. Much love and blessings to you guys.